Friday, June 9th, 1995, in the town of Alma, Arkansas, Colleen Nick and her 6-year-old daughter Morgan were watching a Little League baseball game when two local kids asked Morgan to come catch fireflies with them. Hesitant at first, Colleen allowed her daughter to join the kids, but when the game ended and Morgan didn't came back with them, it didn't take long for the mother to realize that her little kid was in danger. Born on September 12, 1988, Morgan Chauntel Nick was the oldest of the 3 children born to John and Colleen Nick, a couple from Ozark, Arkansas. According to her family, Morgan was a shy girl who loved animals, especially cats. She enjoyed making handicrafts and was a part of Girl Scout. Compassionate and loving, Morgan had dreamed to become a doctor someday. On June 9, 1995, Colleen Nick got invited to watch a Little League baseball game of her friend's kids. The game was in Alma, about half an hour away from Ozark. Colleen decided that this was a good opportunity to bond with her daughter Morgan, so she left 4-year-old Logan and 2-year-old Taryn at their grandma's house and took Morgan to the game in Alma. We had made the choice to go, just Morgan and I, just to have a girls' night out. At around 9 p.m., Colleen and Morgan arrived at Alma Baseball Park, which is just few blocks away from Alma Police Department. They joined their family friends in the bleachers near first baseline. While they were watching the game, 2 of Morgan's friends, 10-year-old Ty and 8-year-old Jessica, asked Morgan to come play with them. But Morgan, who wanted to spend time with her mother, initially refused. As the game progressed, Morgan started to get bored and asked her mother if she could join Ty and Jessica, who were catching fireflies in the parking area. At first, Colleen was reluctant, but after being reassured by her friends that the area was safe and children play there all the time, Colleen gave Morgan permission to go play with the other kids. At 10:45, the game had ended. Colleen saw Ty and Jessica coming back from the parking area, but Morgan wasn't with them. When asked about Morgan, the kids said that she was near a car getting sand out of her shoes. Colleen, who was now feeling dreadful, headed to the parking lot and searched the whole expanse, but Morgan was nowhere to be seen. Soon a crowd of people had gathered at the parking lot. One of them called 911 and reported her disappearance. Authorities arrived at the scene and a search for the young girl was ensued. Assuming that Morgan just lost her way in an unfamiliar area, searchers covered the whole area. But it didn't take them long to grasp the reality. Someone had seized Morgan, someone who was lurking in the parking lot of the baseball field waiting for his prey. All of the 300 people present at the park that night were interviewed. Ty and Jessica told authorities that while they were catching fireflies, they were approached by a creepy man. The man was wearing shorts with the buttons of his shirt open, exposing the hair on his chest. He was about 6 feet tall, had a white complexion and a scruffy beard. The kids also saw a red pickup truck parked nearby, which according to them belonged to the man. Other witnesses who also saw the truck said that it had a camper which was damaged at the rear and was 4 to 5 inches too short for the truck. With the help of Ty and Jessica, authorities developed a composite sketch of the suspect, and soon the news of Morgan's disappearance was all over the media. Not wanting to go home without her daughter, Colleen stayed in Alma and took residence at a volunteer fire station situated right next to Alma Police Department. Local authorities collected each and every bit of the evidence present at the scene and with the help of state police and FBI began looking for Morgan and the man suspected to be her abductor. A man who owned a red pickup truck and was on 10 years probation for molesting his own granddaughter was interviewed by the law enforcement, but after he passed a polygraph, they let him go. Keen on solving the case, detectives investigated several leads but none of them proved to be substantial, and as the time went by, the case of Morgan's disappearance went cold. When Morgan disappeared back in 1995, police received and investigated thousands of tips. They searched vacant properties and had several persons of interest, but among this list, only one stands out as a credible suspect. At around the time of Morgan's disappearance, there were reports of a man who drove a red pickup truck with a white camper trying to abduct kids in the area of Alma and its surroundings. In August of 1995, 2 months after Morgan went missing outside a local Sonic drive-in in Van Buren, Arkansas, an 11-year-old girl and her brothers were approached by a man in a red pickup truck. The man gave the boys some money and asked them to leave the girl alone with him, but the boys refused and stood there to protect their sister from the depraved man. The man offered the young girl some money to go home with him and made some suggestive remarks about her, which according to reports I have read were utterly gross and disgusting. Terrified by this experience, the kids ran and called for help. Seeing this, the man fled and on his way crashed his truck into a light pole. Seeing this scene unfold in front of his eyes, a witness from across the street jotted down the truck license plate number, and it was traced back to a man named Billy Jack Lincks, who was charged and later convicted for sexual solicitation of a child and was sentenced to 6 years in prison and died in year 2000. Billy Jack Lincks, a World War II veteran, had a long history of crime against children. In 1992, charged for molesting his own granddaughter, he was on 10-year probation at the time of Morgan's disappearance and drove a red pickup truck, but his didn't have the camper as described by the witnesses at the ballpark. This oddity can be explained as a witness later said that Billy's truck was recently processed and had a camper up until the couple of months before he was arrested and his truck was seized by the authorities. Authorities also learned that just 3 days after Morgan went missing, Billy had poured a concrete slab on his property. Authorities questioned him about it, but after he passed a polygraph, they had no choice but to back off. Years later, when detectives dug that concrete slab, they found nothing but dirt underneath. Inside his truck, police found a spot of blood, a single blonde hair, and fibers. These items were sent to Quantico for analysis. Experts at Quantico were unable to extract DNA from the hair, but the fibers were found to be a close match to the Girl Scout t-shirt Morgan was wearing on the night of June 9, 1995. With this on their hand, authorities in 2021 named Billy Jack Lincks as official suspect in Morgan Nick's disappearance and asked public to give any information about him which can be helpful in finally solving the case which has haunted people of Alma for about 3 decades now. One year after Morgan's disappearance, in 1996, Colleen started the Morgan Nick Foundation, a non-profit organization whose goal is to prevent children from going missing and help parents cope with the disappearance of their kids. Instead of living with the trauma caused by it, Colleen turned the tragedy of Morgan's disappearance into a movement to protect other kids from the predators lurking out in the world, and the Arkansas Alert System, which is named Morgan Nick Amber Alert, is a proof of her resolve. This is still an open investigation, and if you have any information which can be helpful in solving this case, please contact concerned authorities using numbers given on the screen. Thanks for being here. If you like this type of content, please like this video. Leave a comment behind. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed so you're never gonna miss any of our future uploads. Stay tuned for our next video. Stay safe, stay curious.